Hi everyone, welcome to another episode of Sealed for Good. I'm your host Shandy, and today we'll be sharing an additional 5 tips to ensure that you have a successful application. Thanks to you guys that watched the first part of this series and have come back with some extra tips. We hope you find these ones interesting. Tip number 6 is really before you start, you want to understand the environmental conditions, right? And this is another big one. If you're not doing it already, you should be straight away checking your weather app leading up to the installation, and also taking particular attention to what's going to happen during the installation and then what those conditions are going to be post application as well. So you don't want to be applying, say, a water-based primer or a water-based membrane, in the middle of winter, and then 4 days later you're going to be getting a rainfall event or a massive rain event. It's going to undo a lot of the good work that you've done and then potentially create other issues like wash off, something like 38C, that bright blue. It's not something you want to see sort of running off a balcony. So environmental conditions and understanding what's happening, crucial. Internal wet areas, it's just as important, so you can have an expectation of how the job is going to progress and at what point it'll be safe to start with the next stage. So tip number 8 is effective use of your priming systems, right? And again, it might be a real simple sort of tip and real basic advice, but you'd be surprised how often we get this part wrong, right? So making sure that we are successfully priming, we are using enough product, and that we're using the right primer for the right type of scenario. So whether that be a damp surface with Gripset E60, or a non-porous surface with something like the OP, or a porous surface with the GP primer, we should always be assessing the surface as per the previous tip, but then really effectively priming, checking the TDS, confirming coverage rates, film thickness and drying times before you start with the next step, which is your membranes, and also tip number 9, which is effective application of your membranes. So things like ensuring that you're using a wet film thickness gauge, critical. Without it, it's anyone's guess how well you're achieving the required thicknesses. And then also, which is really critical for your liquid applied membranes, is assessing the curing stage of that product. So again, it's more of an issue in the colder months, just making sure that the product is cured enough for your tile over stage, and then especially important is that it's cured enough for your in-service stage, so when the product becomes fully cured and then that wet area can be put into use. Which leads us with tip number 10, which is all about testing and keeping a record of the quality of the work that you've left behind. So the old saying, a photo is worth 1,000 words. In this case, a photo can save you thousands of dollars. So always take photos, make sure that they're dated and that you have them saved under that job file, and if anything comes up, you can then have that evidence there to demonstrate the condition that you left that waterproofing application in, right? So there's definitely more type of tests and things that you can conduct to ensure that the system was in working order before you left, things like flood testing, or even a third party coming in and checking that membrane, checking the application before the tiling stage commence, again, can save you thousands in the long run. So we hope you found these tips useful, and looking forward to seeing you at the next episode of Sealed for Good. Remember, if you have additional tips to the 5 that we've just gone through, let us know. We're eager to hear from you guys. Until then, happy waterproofing. James from Anchor Waterproofing, congratulations on being this week's applicator spotlight. Once again, you've absolutely nailed your applications, and we absolutely love you tagging us in all your posts. Awesome work, excellent engagement. Keep it up. Love you, mate.